Welcome back, beautiful women. This is part 2 of the female body hair chat with our guest, Jessie Beale from She's Naked Again. We'll give it a minute for her to log in and I can invite her in for a chat. So I hope you are all doing well this week. Last week I had a bit of a holiday, a bit of a family adventure. So I wasn't on social media as much, but I'm feeling really excited to be back with this chat, a topic that I definitely hold close to my heart. So let's just let Jess log on. So today's chat is going to be a follow-up of last week's. So last week, Jessie and I both shared with you our stories, our processes, what the journey has been like so far with coming to terms with being in an all-natural haired female body. So this week we are coming back with the topics that we didn't get to speak on last week, and then also sharing with you a section of frequently asked questions that we have put out all over social media and the top questions that we are going to answer for you. So let's just see, where is Jessie? If you are watching live, then please let me a comment. Let me know you're here. Good morning, lovely.
Hello, how are you?
I'm very good. How are you doing this morning? You got your coffee?
Oh, I just made it. I was desperate.
I've already had mine, so I was a bit early today. Just
I'm
raising my camera. There we go. Still waking up?
One of those days, the clouds are rolling over and it's cold weather. It's supposed to be spring, but
yeah,
slept in too much. I'm just like, oh, but coffee solves everything.
I feel you. And today I remembered to wear a singlet, so woohoo! Or a dress. I almost went and put on another long sleeve thing because it is a bit cooler here too. It's overcast and it's a bit rainy, but I was like, no, today, no sleeves.
I thought about that too, and I was like, oh, keep them out today.
Keep them out. So I have just let everyone know what we have in store for them today. Following on from last week's chat, we are both really excited to come back and close off this topic, although I don't think it can ever really be closed, but we're trying to do our best. It's a big topic. So we've got a few points to touch on, to chat about, to open up discussion to, and then we are going to roll into our frequently asked questions. So if you have questions, don't pop them in the chat just yet because we probably will answer them. If by the end we haven't touched on your question, then please pop it in the chat and we will definitely come back and do some more on this because we love this topic. So the first thing I want to touch on, and don't mind me, I've got my notes sitting over here, so I'm just going to be looking at my computer. But leading up to these two conversations, I posted in quite a few female-only Facebook groups that I follow for support groups, for female entrepreneurs, for business, and I posted in them with photos of Jessie and I, the photo that you would see on this page of both of us next to each other with our armpit hair out, asking the women what questions they have around this topic, if they shave, if they don't, how they made that decision. And I got deleted from so many women-only support Facebook groups that it blew my mind. Not me personally,
I didn't realize
but the post. My post got deleted. Not in all the groups, but in some of them.
Holy shit!
It obviously triggered enough people in that group that they, said to the admin, this isn't relevant to this. Well, that was their excuse. This isn't relevant to the group's, mission or whatever. So it really put things into perspective. Like in my world, I'm so used to now having body hair, and the people that I've been kind of manifesting into my reality have body hair or are just on a very similar journey, or maybe they don't have body hair, but they're very used to it. So it did come to a bit of a shock and made me realize that it's still such a taboo topic and it still holds so much stigma around it. and to be posting in a women's support group with questions about this, not a statement or an opinion throwing at them, but literally a question on this topic to get their feedback. It was just hounded with comments, right? And then taken off. So that's probably the first thing I want to talk about, is that I forget how stigmatized it still is, because it's my reality and it has been for so long. And yeah, I don't know if there's anything you want to share on that, Jessie, now that you are, I've noticed, posting more photos of your body hair and kind of really speaking into that world.
Yeah, it's I'm fortunate to not have yet caused uproar or any negativity, because I am aware that I am a bit of a sensitive person. So when I'm sure I'll come across it and it's gonna be a bit, oh, okay, this is something else I've got to work through. But just talking about, for one, I didn't realize we got deleted from pages. I'm actually shocked about that and quite a little bit upset that women do react in that way. But one thing I do want to speak about, I saw one of your posts in a women's group and I scrolled through the 250 odd comments that were on there, and I was honestly shocked in a way that women reacted. Very mixed, but the negative comments, it was just simply as gross, disgusting. And one comment that got me was, these women think their body hair is cute, look at them. And along the lines, if you had more body hair, you wouldn't be doing that. And I just found that very interesting, just throwing it straight back on us. And that's a labeling, but that's another conversation. But no, but as well, I'm trying to put myself in their shoes, not justifying their behavior whatsoever. But again, as I spoke about last week, there was a time where I would never be nasty, but I would also wouldn't be accepting either. So it's a hard one. It's a really hard one.
Yeah. It happens to me a lot in the work that I do with the nude yoga and just the body acceptance kind of movement, being naked, and the taboo topics I talk on. I am very used to getting very mixed responses for my posts. And luckily I've got thick skin, like nothing really, I don't dwell on anything that people say, because it is just a projection of themselves. And so it really is water off a duck's back to me. And I kind of use it as research, because it shows me so much of what's still happening in society when I get such a big throwback or such a big reaction. It goes, oh, okay, this is more for me to now educate on in my space. So yeah, I really like that it has done that. But that was the first topic I wanted to talk on today. Just, it blew my mind that I was deleted from women's only support pages for this topic. But anyway, the mission goes on.
Yeah, it's got to continue.
The next topic that we got was, when we see women with body hair, or listeners, when you see women with body hair, do you label them? And do we label them, Jessie? Have we ever? Do we now? What's your take on this?
Absolutely. Big yes. Just as I spoke about a moment ago, these women in these women in this group who commented on your post instantly labeled, and that label was gross. And as I said, again, not justifying their behavior, I just really want to say that, but I was one of those people, and I definitely labeled. My biggest label was either a hippie or a lesbian, especially being in the queer community. It was just like, oh, lesbians have body hair. That's why they have body hair. Ridiculous now I think of it. But also there's feminist. It's just they're making a statement. But I want to say we, and including me as well, we label because we're uncomfortable with what we see. We don't know what to do with this information. So to process it, it's easiest to label. But of course, that's my take. But how was there a time where you did label?
I think I flowed in and out of it. Like, I remember growing up, my mum has very thick, dark hair, and it's hard to remember exactly. I know that in her later years now, like since I think I was in high school onwards, she's always been clean shaven. But I remember as a kid walking around naked with my family and seeing pubic hair, like a full bush on my mum, and armpit hairs when she would, you know, not shave for a while. They were big and thick. And I don't remember what my thoughts were on it, because in my world it was normal.
Mm-hmm.
But then I think growing out of childhood and into my own pubescent stage and seeing body hair, on some people I found it attractive, and on some people I didn't.
Interesting.
And that's just where my mind went as a teenager. Like if I was at a hippie event and there was this beautiful woman in like this amazing hippie outfit and she had a bit of armpit hair, I'd look at that and I'd be inspired by that.
Mm-hmm.
But if I was like, and this is, I know that saying these words is quite controversial, but I'm telling you where my head was when I was a teenager. If I'd be going through McDonald's and there was a frumpy, maybe overweight person and they had body hair, I would label them something different.
Mm-hmm.
And this was because in my mind, I was trying to figure out my own relationship to this situation. And so, as you said, to categorize the beauty side of it to then the dirty side of it, I had to make these changes. And in looking back now, and as an adult, I know how wrong that is, and I know how controversial that is. But as a kid, you don't know. This is just what your mind does. So I definitely used to label, but now I'm the one being labeled. Like I also have dreadlocks. So it's, I am the hippie. I am, to everyone who just sees me, I am the hippie. And I don't like labels. I really try not to use them now as an adult, because I really don't feel like you can be put under one label or term.
Absolutely.
But I definitely used to, and I can catch myself in my mind sometimes, just without consciousness or without awareness, making that stereotype before it fully even processes. And it's just a natural thing we were taught to do. But I definitely don't now as an adult. And I think it's because of my own journey to figuring out who I am that now I don't label people.
No, absolutely. And we're only human. We are only human. And I still find myself labeling as well sometimes, but I catch myself when I label, and I try and figure out why I'm projecting those feelings and why I'm projecting that label. And as well, that this comes around to us of just why we're doing that.
Yeah. So I wanted to be that beautiful hippie lady in the forest dancing around, and I did not want to be that overweight person sitting in McDonald's. Oh, it's so bad, so bad. Ricky, all right. The next topic is the younger generation, and this came from that post that you mentioned earlier where we had like 250 comments, and even now it's still getting comments because that one was able to stay up on the group. But the younger generation is choosing not to shave from the get-go a lot of the time. A lot of women had said, oh, my 12-year-old daughter, she's never shaved, she never wants to. I wish I had her confidence and her stand in her power at that age. Why do you think now that the younger generation is more, not going down that path?
Honestly, I have no fucking idea. I'm shocked. And I just wanted to add on this. So funny. I was at the park recently a couple of weeks ago, and we were slacklining, and this girl came on down, looked maybe mid-20s, and she was like, hey guys, like, can I jump on the slackline? I instantly noticed her leg hair, and then I was like, oh, and my thought process was changing. I was like, oh, awesome. Like, she's got natural body hair, saw her underarm hair. Started chatting, and Anna was just like, what are you up to today? And she was, I'm studying. What are you studying? Oh, my HSC. And I was like, oh my God, you're 17. And that then rolled into didn't look 17, but that's besides the point. Got rolling in the conversation about body hair, and she hadn't shaved since she was 12 years old. And she was like, I decided to stop shaving. High school was a bitch. I struggled through it. The fact that she had to struggle, but she held her own, and she goes, I just don't want to shave. This is who I am. So it was just so fascinating rolling onto this conversation and reading about women saying their children decide not to shave, and just meeting someone myself that has moved through that. And one thing she did bring up, because she's also We also spoke about being queer, and she's very openly queer. And I said, how did you move through that? And one thing that kind of brought attention, not that they necessarily relate, but she said the queer community is so much more open in high school than perhaps it used to be. And that rolling back
Yeah.
into, if they're accepting of this, they're accepting of other things, of how people want to live their lives, and perhaps choosing not to shave. So
Yeah.
the only thing I can put it down to and assume is things are different. The internet is different. People are open. People are changing.
Yeah.
That's my only take on it.
I know, and I wish there was more younger people in my life that I knew like were going through either the choosing to shave or choosing not to, so I could actually talk to them about it and really understand where in their minds they are making their decision from. Because I agree with you. I think it's just that we have so much more information at the tip of our fingers now. Like when you and I were going through early high school, and it was that time where most women do start to shave, all we had was TV and magazines, and you would only see smooth women in those things. Now you've got feminists and body positivity movements all over, so you do get to see both sides. And as you said, the LGBTQ plus community is, you know, a lot more prominent in our lives and in our conversations too. So I agree with you. I just think it's that there is more information available now to the younger generation.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's all it comes down to, and which is amazing. At the end of the day,
Yeah,
it's absolutely incredible.
I know. I love what we are getting to witness in this lifetime. So a big one, body hair equals dirty. Now, this one really gets me upset and frustrated because, and it's mainly women that have said this to us, only because we've been posting in women only groups. We haven't really been asking for the male opinion on this for these chats. But a lot of women are saying that female body hair is dirty. And so I want to then ask those women, do you also think that male body hair is dirty? Because what is the difference? We all grow hair on the same places. Men obviously grow hair on more places than us. But do you think that their hair is dirty, or is it just women? Because we both have hair, it's both natural. And the women who talk about BO being, you know, terrible when they grow out their armpit hair, it's like, but do men smell all the time? Like, I'm sure your husband or your partner puts on deodorant and smells fine. Like, it's not an actual issue. It's just an issue that women create in their heads based on female body hair only. So that gets
on its smelling. Actually, I want to bring this up really good. I did a little experiment. So I haven't shaved my underarm hair all COVID, so it was full length. After our chat, I got thinking about body odor, and I said, I'm a sweater. I sweat so much. So I actually trimmed my underarm hair to find out if it made any difference. No difference. I think I was sweating even more. But I thought that was a good example to bring up. But of course, everyone's different. But on being dirty, absolutely. It's a label. It's what we automatically assume. And perhaps because it makes our legs look darker. And when we shave, we're obviously silky smooth, ridiculously smooth. And it comes down to looking more feminine, perhaps. And then I have heard women say that they find men's body hair dirty. But again, would you ask a man to shave? It's
like full body shave.
Yeah, you wouldn't. And again, men are choosing to shave now, and that's their decision. And again, I would like to ask them why they're shaving. But it's interesting. It's all I can put that down to is it being a label, it being referred to as dirty.
Yeah. And so leading on from that, we want to talk about BO. Like, how does body hair affect your body odor? And you and I both have kind of moved away from chemical store-bought deodorants and are, you know, exploring a natural way of dealing with body odor. But personal hygiene is not determined by your body hair, right?
Big misconception.
So you can, sorry?
Big misconception.
Yes. You can look, just like coming off the dirty thing, we have body hair, we must be dirty. I probably take better care of myself than most people. I mean, we all have our days, but you know. So body hair, does it affect BO? I think that it definitely does in the beginning, because, and not in the way that you would generally think, but when I decided to stop shaving, it was also, as I said, an opportunity for me to go down a more natural path in all the things that I use for my body, not just deodorant, but shampoos, soaps, toothpaste, like cleaning products, the works. And my transition out of chemical deodorants to natural ones was stinky. Like it gets worse before it gets better, because your body has to release and detox all of those chemicals that you have been pumping into your pores under your armpits for so long. So it is going to start to smell very different to what you're used to. And yeah, what did you find with that?
Oh man, my transition to natural deodorant. I've tried to go to natural deodorant beforehand when I was not on my body hair journey. So it was just I want to change over. Couldn't do it because I smelled so bad. And then this time around, my body hair journey naturally led into a natural deodorant journey. And I was lucky I was stuck inside in COVID and I had to deal with the disgusting smell. But I don't feel like it. It may be that the body hair may have had something to do with it, but I don't feel like it did. It's just switching over. Any women who've tried it, you know, it's a journey in itself. But I also want to just say that just because you're growing out your body hair doesn't mean you also need to use natural deodorant. Doesn't mean you need to go all organic and change your lifestyle. These are all choices in itself that just resonated with me. And then, of course, Ricky, you've taken it further with the things you've wanted to change completely. And that's just a lifestyle choice. So I think it's definitely, that's coming back to labeling. So they have body hair, they must be all natural. They must dance around a fire naked. They must do all these things. Because
God, I really do fit into that stereotype.
Ricky does. But no, it's these are all such simple choices on their own. And you take it, you shave your entire body and just use natural deodorant, or you use normal deodorant while you let your body hair grow. It's like this pick and choose, and it's the beauty of it. And just like you choose to shave your underarms but let your leg hair grow, it's not an all or nothing scenario.
Yeah.
But I think I went off topic.
Yeah, so I don't think. No, you're right. So I don't think your BO changes when you grow body hair. It'll change when you switch deodorants or move to a natural deodorant.
That's it.
And that's also going to be very different for each woman. And based on your bacteria and your pH levels and what you put in your body. And I've noticed that my BO smells worse when I'm not taking care of myself, or when I am not putting the healthiest things into my body. If I'm drinking alcohol a lot, or maybe eating a lot of fast food, or, you know, just those times when it happens, like I've just come back from holiday where we ate and drank a lot, and I can smell that in my body because in my BO, because your body is always trying to push out the things, the toxins, the stuff it doesn't need, and it does that through your sweat. And you may notice that you sweat more with armpit hair, but you just feel it more. You're not sweating more, you're just feeling it more because the hairs are there and it sticks to the hairs. So that's a bit off topic too, but let's talk about natural deodorants.
Yes.
My favorite one, and I went into the shops and I was buying still store-bought natural deodorants, and they just weren't cutting it. This was, you know, years ago. I was still working 8 hours a day in a fast-paced job, and by the end of the day I would stink, and I'd be like, well, what's the point of that deodorant? So I went through quite a lot of them, never found one that was enough for my odor until I tried lime juice. Now, fresh limes from the supermarket, cut them in half and just cut off like a little wedge. And I would hold it above my arm. I would squeeze the juice onto my skin and rub the juice in, and that would be it. I didn't rub the skin on my skin because of the acidity it can burn. So you have to be careful if you've got sensitive skin. Try it out. Rub the lime juice in. That's it. And that was the best thing I could ever find. And I found that in doing a little bit of research, it is the acidity in the lime juice neutralizes the odor creating bacteria that sits in your armpit so that you don't get that smell, because the smell is bacteria, right? It is also the shit that's coming out of your skin. That together creates the smell. And that can happen anywhere on your body. But lime juice, my saving grace.
Never heard of it before, but I'm going to give it a go, because I'm using store-bought deodorant, store-bought natural deodorant. It's the first one I picked up, surprisingly worked quite well, but now I'm getting more active and now it's getting warmer. I'm definitely noticing a bit of a difference and I'm starting to sweat a bit more. So I bought one offline that I've been recommended, but I'm going to give that a go 100%. I think that might be the direction I need to go in, because I need to stick to it. I can't just, how much my body detoxed and how I smelt was so concerning. And I'm like, this is my body just getting rid of all these deodorant I've used for the last 20 years. Like, what is that doing to us? It was scary.
Yeah. And you have to let it come out. Like, as much as it smells and as hard as it is to kind of navigate through those weeks or months, however long it takes, you need to do that. You need to give your body that reset.
Yes.
And even if you don't want to, go the all natural way and use lime juice like I do, try and find a more natural deodorant. Like, don't just stick with those main brands that are filled with petrochemicals and, hard metals, and like, take care of yourself, because you're blocking your glands there with that stuff. And sweating is natural. Sweating is good. It's your body regulating temperature. So the next topic I want to talk on is pink tax. So have you ever heard of pink tax?
No, I have not. He brought this up earlier and I was like, excuse me? But no, I'm ready to hear all about this.
Cool. So I didn't want to speak out of an uneducated place, so I have copy and pasted. I'm going to read to you stuff that I got from a website based on pink tax. So this woman in her blog has said, the gender pay gap in Australia stands at around 13.9%, which means that women earn on average $242.90 per week less than men. If that isn't bad enough, we actually pay more than men too for the same products, and this is called our pink tax. The pink tax is not an actual tax mandated by the government, but is a marketing ploy used by companies to target products and women by changing the color of the product or packaging so that it looks like it is specially for women. So it is actually the exact same product that they are selling to men, but in the women's box, and charging us heaps more. So she also says that the pink tax doesn't just go for like sanitary products or things that we would class as feminine products. It also works for like girls' toys or clothes or shoes, costing more than boys or men's products. So like a pink bike versus a blue bike, it'll be more expensive. And even like go into the shops now and have a look now that you've heard of the pink tax. Maybe go into your chemist and be like, oh, I'll get the women's this deodorant and then I'll get the exact same one in men's. Look at the ingredients, look at the price, and buy the men's one, because it's probably going to be exactly the same. They're just charging you more. So I've also got some things here that what we can do about the pink tax. Like, now that you are and we are aware of it, how we can actually not get caught up in it. So it's easy to notice and call out the pink tax when the products are sitting side by side and the price discrepancy is obvious. However, more often than not, products specific to gender are in different sections of the supermarket or opposite ends of the department store. So next time you're in the supermarket or department store, check the men's section to see if you can get more bang for your buck. As well as personal hygiene and hair removal products, watch out for the pink tax on toys for girls, basic t-shirts, dry cleaning fees, and even haircuts. If products or services are labeled for men or for women, check the details, as the product or service may be exactly the same, but one may be cheaper than the other. Make sure you check the unit pricing. A product for females may seem cheaper than the male equivalent, but you could be getting less grams per package. So you know how it kind of says underneath the price tag, 100 mils, for this dollars? Have a look at the difference there. And if you do find an example of the pink tax, start to call it out. Bring awareness to it. Post it on social media. Tag the companies that are doing it. Contact the companies that are responsible for it and asking them for an explanation. Take the photos of the men's deodorant, the ingredients and everything, and then the price, and just start to call them out on this, because it's freaking bullshit. So that's the pink tax.
I think I'm going to see this everywhere now. It's just, I guess, again, it's education, and it's just my awareness has never brought, I never had attention to this. I would have never noticed it. And of course we know about equal rights and just kind of women not gaining as much as men in over time. But I think I've just always had this idea that women have caught up in a way, that we're all in this together. But no, I just feel like there maybe not been enough education about this. I haven't seen this called out before. I haven't seen this on social media. Oh.
Yeah, because you're not supposed to know about it, right?
Yeah, that's it.
But like a lot of things that, the government does is all the information is available online. We just don't look for it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this isn't being hidden from us. We just don't look for it. But anyway,
oh my goodness.
Next topic. So the Met Gala happened, I don't know, last week or 2 weeks ago. And not that I follow any of that. I don't watch television. But I did see, my mum forwarded me a photo of Madonna's daughter. I can't remember her name. But she was at the Met Gala on the red carpet, and she had her arm in the air, and she had full armpit hair. And it's great to see that now celebrities are rocking natural body hair, but it's what the tabloids decided to caption this photo. And they weren't being mean to her, they were actually supporting her, but it brings awareness to how important words really are. They were saying how she is brave and courageous for having female body hair. And that to me is just so infuriating, because it's not brave, it's not courageous, it's fucking normal. Like, there shouldn't be, you don't have someone lifting their arm and it's smooth and we go, oh, she's so brave for shaving. It's like, what the hell? Shaving is the unnatural way. That should be, but it just makes me aware and want to talk about how words hold such power and can be so condescending, even though it's coming from not that place. But do you have anything to add to that?
Well, I actually just want to ask, first of all, do you know how old she is?
Oh, she didn't look very old, like maybe mid-20s, but that's just a guess.
Yeah, that's just coming back to, I was just thinking about the younger generation choosing not to shave. That leads back into that again. And that is her leading the younger generation into this, which is amazing. But going back into labels, absolutely, we brushed quickly on this last week, that I've even received a few comments of just like, oh, you're so brave for doing this. And I was just like, it's almost like I'm being labeled brave because I'm taking a stand and in front of people who don't want to do this. And yeah, again, brave is just not the word. I'm like, I don't want to be labeled brave because everyone else is too scared to do this almost. And that also comes down to do what makes you happy. That can also kind of go into the same thing, and it might be women not knowing what to say as well. think
Yeah.
it is interesting. I think that just comes down to labeling once again, but trying to be encouraging. It's almost
Mm.
words of encouragement, essentially, I feel.
Yeah. So what would be better words than like courageous or brave? Like maybe inspiring?
Actually, a hard one. I'm not sure, because that's perhaps inspiring, but it's one of those things. Do we want nothing to be said, or do we want something to be said? I feel like we're standing in that way of, don't call me brave, but what do you want me to call me? What do I want you to say? And I don't know what that
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. Because they could have that photo of Madonna's daughter with her armpit hair. She was wearing like a beautiful outfit, and and I'm sure she's there for a reason. She's accomplished something to be at the Met Gala as well. Like, I don't really know what it's for, but there are so many other qualities of that woman that they could have titled that photo, but they took that one thing and said about her body hair. They didn't speak about how great she looked, the achievements she made that year. The focus was on her armpit hair.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, come on.
And I'm sure she was taking a stand. She was making a statement, but someone who makes a statement like that has many other things trailing behind that statement that could have been referred to. Because it'd be interesting to look at what she's doing with her fame, and I can almost guarantee it's good things. And
yeah. I don't know what she's doing. I don't really know a lot of celebrity things.
But no, it is very interesting looking at that. And that's them not knowing what to say. It's just like, whoa, like, holy shit, let's not, like, we need to say positive things. So let's go with brave.
Yeah. Yeah. So we've got 2 more topics before we get into our questions. So this is one that we did touch on last week, but it was so brief that we feel that we want to kind of clarify our intentions. And it was, people who do choose to shave their bodies, have you ever questioned it? And you and I had a brief chat before we jumped on the live about this. And we definitely feel that we want to let the listeners know, or whoever listens to this in the future, that we are not trying to convert anybody. And those were your words, Jessie, and I 100% agree with what you said, is that we are not having these conversations to get you to stop shaving. We are just bringing awareness to something that isn't taught to us growing up or in school or anything like that, because you and I have been through both sides of this. And we may again fluctuate in between shaving and non-shaving for the rest of our lives, who knows. But it's just to get the women who choose to shave to actually take a step back and ask yourself the question, why am I shaving? Am I just doing it because it's all I've ever known and it's all I've ever seen, and I haven't really sat with myself and said, why do I do this? Is it for me? Is it for society? Is it because it's irritating, or I think it's gross? But really just open up your consciousness to this topic, and give it a go. Your body hair is always going to grow back. You can always cut it. Really try it. Really see what happens within you, and the shame you carry around body hair possibly, that you can grow from.
Absolutely.
So what do you have to add to that?
Well, one thing I just, my mind started moving towards just then is, even if bringing awareness, I think that's our biggest thing. We're not here to convert. We're here to bring awareness to your other women's thought patterns, essentially. So if a woman sits there, contemplates why they shave, and go, I shave for me, absolutely, good on you, and I'm glad you figured that out. But I want, if you were to take one thing from this, I want women to take the way they view other women who choose not to shave. I think that's the biggest thing from here, is because I'm going to keep referring back to myself, but I know where my thought pattern used to be. And I used to label, judge, and call it disgusting and gross. And yeah, as I said, take one thing from this, and it is change the way you view women who don't shave.
Yeah. Beautiful. Love that. And also, I want to talk on, before we get to our questions, I listened to a podcast based around female body hair yesterday on my walk, which was really great and allowed me to hear from other people who choose not to shave. And a woman with a full beard kind of thing, like that journey must have been epic. But the interviewer in this podcast is a woman who knows that she shaves for society. Like, she's created this podcast and she's doing this interview to help her get a better understanding of it. She knows she does it for society. Every 6 weeks she goes and gets laser. It's expensive, it's painful, yet she goes back every 6 weeks. And for society. And it's like, and she knows how like dumb and irrational that is in hindsight, but she keeps doing it. And like, how many other women out there do that? Keep throwing their money at these companies, keep enduring this pain just so they can not be looked at by someone else on the street and, you know, not fit into that box of what society has deemed women to look like.
Fear of judgment.
And yeah, and just fear of not being accepted with your partners, with your co-workers, with your friends, like anything. And I did speak about this in my very first chat about, you know, the evolution of the female razor. And when the companies decided to create a female razor, the first ad that they posted in the newspapers or the magazines back then was so brilliantly marketed, because in their one little paragraph, they had a photo of the razor and they gave the women of the world the problem and the solution in one paragraph. So the problem being that body hair is disgusting and you won't find a partner if you're hairy. And then the solution is buy this razor and become smooth. You know, just genius marketing. And that is still happening today, because we are constantly getting bombarded with new products for hair removal or bleaching or, you know, services around it. And we're constantly seeing magazines and TV shows and movies with hairless women. Like, we're not ever seeing hairy women unless it's a show on freak shows when the lady grows a beard. So that's just like, think about what you're doing again. Is it for you? Is it for society? Is it worth the pain and the money and the time to maintain? Like, really? I don't get it, only because I'm so far out of that world, but maybe that's another thing to think about.
Yeah, it's a big topic. It's a big thought process, and it's going to take time. But yeah, we are conditioned by society to see it as gross. So we keep spending this money. We keep getting laser. So many businesses are popping up now. Well, laser has taken over, and they need your money.
And I've even met women in the work that I do with female embodiment and empowerment, women who got laser years ago who now want to have body hair and can't because they made that decision. And it's such a serious decision to make, because you don't know what you're going to be like in the future. So to make such a drastic change to your body that can never be reversed, to me, that's very serious. And I know women who wish they could grow pubic hair and armpit hair now, and they can't. But we've already been talking for 45 minutes. We haven't even started the questions. All right. I'll give a timestamp in the description so that people can get to the questions if they want. All right. So first question, and I'll ask you first. Do you feel less feminine having body hair?
We spoke about this briefly earlier. You threw the question at me and it gave me time to think about it. Feminine has never been a word that sat with me to begin with. I've never really understood necessarily the word. I knew what the word feminine was, and I knew I was supposed to feel feminine, but I think I've really played around with this word entering the queer community and figuring out who I was. So it's very interesting. No, because I've never felt feminine in the first place. If anything, body hair, now having body hair makes me feel more in my power. It makes me feel more it almost, I want to say, not gives me an identity, but it goes, I'm choosing to be me. And definitely someone who struggled with identity for so long and figuring out who I was and who I wanted to be. Since growing body hair out, I'm just going, oh, I'm becoming my own person. So I think that, yeah, feminine, tossing that word out the window because it doesn't mean anything to me. But how do you feel with it?
I love that. Sometimes it makes me feel less feminine and sometimes it makes me feel more feminine. And I think that's because the way I relate to that word also changes. So it doesn't just mean girly things to me. And as you said, femininity can be just standing in your power. But the thing that that question got me thinking of is that we have been taught that men and women are opposites. We are so opposite. We aren't the same. You're either a man or you're a woman. And if you're a man, you have to be masculine. And if you're a woman, you have to be feminine. But both genders have masculine and feminine energy. So why does hair on your body just go with the masculine, and then being shaved and smooth just goes with the feminine? Because women can grow body hair. Naturally, we grow body hair. Men can also not grow body hair naturally, just genetically not be hairy. And so does that make them feminine? And then having hair, does that make us masculine? Like, we are not opposites. We both have masculine and feminine energy. So it's really breaking that gender binary, not having us be one way or the other, but allowing us to be both, which we are naturally at our core. So sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. If I was to go to something really fancy and formal and everyone's walking around, all the women are walking around in these beautiful gowns and they're all silky smooth and no hair, and then I'm walking around with body hair. In that circumstance, I think the old conditioning comes back into my head, and I do feel like, or I'm more in my masculine in this situation. But then I can be at a bush doof where everyone's running around either naked or in their fairy costumes and everyone has body hair, and I feel so deeply connected to my feminine because I'm in Mother Nature. I am natural. I am living the epitome of what Mother Earth and femininity is, and that's power, that's connection, that's creativity. And so I flow in and out of that depending on the situation I'm in. So the second question, and this was one that we got a lot in those comments also, women saying, would you still choose to not shave if you had a lot more body hair? So as you said earlier, like our level of body hair, people might think is cute or label as cute. But if we were to be growing chest hair or have, a prominent snail trail or even like a beard, so to speak, would we still not shave?
Yeah, it's a very good question, and it did although it was said and asked very aggressively, it did get me thinking about it, and it's hard because I only know my body with my amount of body hair, and to some people I could have a lot of body hair, to others I have no body hair. And if I had a more culture where I did grow a hell of a lot more body hair, perhaps I would choose to shave some parts of my body and not shave others. So it's a hard question to answer, but that's just, if I'm going, just choose to shave what you don't want. Don't shave anything, shave everything. It's just, that's what it comes down to. You don't like it, shave it.
Yeah.
It's
and I don't think I've ever labeled my body hair as cute, ever. I don't think I've ever thought of it as cute.
No, I was like, when you said it, I was like, thank you.
I mean, obviously she thinks that maybe women with our amount of body hair is a cute look.
Mm.
But just like you said, I've got friends who don't shave their armpit hairs and they have like 4 little blonde wispy hairs and they're like, oh, I'm so hairy.
Yeah.
I'm like, bitch, please. Are you serious? So it's all relative, isn't it? And honestly, I don't know how to answer this question because, as you said, our answers are very much the same. I only know this body. I only know what my journey has been like with my amount of body hair. And so I can't answer that question with like an honest answer. Maybe as I get older and my hormones start to change, I will start to get body hair in different places. And that's when I'll navigate that situation. But yeah, I really like, we can't answer that question because we don't have that body and it wouldn't be an honest answer if we tried to.
Exactly. I don't want to answer for other women because, yeah, as I said, we only know our own bodies.
Yeah. So next question, a lot of women were asking, like, why do we actually even have hair in these places on our body? You know, vagina hair, armpit hair, and for the ones I was looking up a couple of reasons because I was like, I'm not a doctor, I didn't study this. Like, what is the actual things? Regulating airflow, you know, armpit hair and your pussy regulating airflow so that your skin is not constantly on skin and creating that bacteria. So that's one of them. On your pussy, having hair there reduces friction during sex. And I know that that was a huge thing for me when I shaved down there and was to have sex. I would just get so rashy and raw and very uncomfortable on my, like, mons pubis skin. If the man was hairy, that would rub on my freshly shaved skin. If they also shaved and were prickly, that would rub. And it was like, it was terrible. I hated it. And then also the hair is there to stop bacteria and other microorganisms from entering your body. So this is again talking about your pussy hair, like, and just like your eyelashes, right, and your nostril hairs. It keeps out dirt. It keeps out, you know, just things that can get in there. So it has a purpose. It wouldn't be there if there wasn't a purpose for it.
Exactly.
Is there anything that you want to add to why we have body hair?
No, I did a little bit of research myself and that practically covered it because it's interesting. It wasn't until my body hair journey that I was like, why do we have body hair? There's got to be a reason. It's not just popping up for the sake of it. We have body hair there for a reason. And regulating airflow made a lot of sense, especially under the arms. I was like, it's not there to make us sweat even more or make us smell. But no, I think you covered it there. And just one thing I wanted to add, I brought this up last week as well. I've shaved my pubic hair my entire life from high school. When very interesting stories. Well, in high school, I remember I didn't know if I was supposed to shave or I did shave, and I didn't have Google at the time, and I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't know who to ask, but I shaved because I thought I was supposed to shave. Shaved my entire life, ingrown hairs, pain, and I would have to put up with itchiness for the first 2 days after shaving because I get shaving rash every time. Nothing occurred to me because I also, very difficult back and forth in my head. I hated shaving, but I also hated it letting it grow out because it was itchy either way. Nothing occurred to me just to trim it. It wasn't until last year I started trimming for the first time in 27 years. And I was like, oh my God. But yeah, it's again with that, it's there for a reason. And finally I've found the middle ground, and trimming has just been a lifesaver.
I agree with you there. I would never ever go clean shaven again, but I would trim for certain things.
Clean shaven.
All right, so next, this question's a good one, and this is a question that I thought of myself to ask us because something happened to me the other day where I found a struggle, right, within this journey. So the question is there any part of your body hair journey that you still struggle with today?
Yes, big yes. So last time we spoke last week, I said I was still in lockdown and my struggle would be when I returned to work. I hopped into work yesterday because we were repainting the studio, and the first thing that popped into my head was, oh, I can't wear a singlet instantly. And I was like, oh shit, I'm still struggling with this. And that's getting me ready to return back to work. And I think this will be a to be continued and a little bit of an update of how I feel when I go back. So
Yeah.
definitely it's yes, that's gonna answer that simply. Still struggling. But I'm
Yeah.
aware of it and I'm ready to tackle this fear head on.
Yeah. And I was exactly the same when I was at your place, like in your place of my journey, is that I only wore t-shirts for such a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And it was only certain places that I would feel more comfortable wearing a singlet. And over time, like just giving myself, yes, it's okay to wear a t-shirt, people can still see a bit of armpit hair, but that's okay. It's just a little bit. Like, this is what my mind was. It's like, they fucking know anyway. It doesn't matter. But baby steps, and then you'll still, like, if I know I'm going to a certain place, I'll choose to wear a t-shirt over a singlet. And I'm not being harsh on myself or being mean or judgmental on myself for making those decisions either. Like, I'm not doing this, like, as we said earlier, as a statement. I'm not trying to prove a point. I am literally just living my life the way I want to. And if today I want to wear a t-shirt, that's fine. If tomorrow I want to wear a singlet, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So, what did I say here? I said, still parts that I struggle with. So yeah, I think there will always be difficulties. This is just speaking for me, living this life, because it isn't the norm. Media is constantly telling us that we need to be smooth in order to fit in and to be beautiful and accepted. And I wonder what I would do if, the time comes and I have to go, like I said earlier, to a very formal event, or I'm asked to be a bridesmaid and they ask me to shave, or, or everyone's wearing dresses where they're smooth and I'm the hairy one. Like, what would I do? It would be such an internal battle. And I realize I would never clean shave. I would never clean shave. I might trim,
Mm-hmm.
close to the skin for that, but there's always going to be struggle, because you're always going to be put into difficult situations where people aren't going to be accepting, and every time they project their bullshit on you, you then have to relive the shame of your decision and keep moving forward.
100%. Something that just popped into my head just then was I actually hadn't thought about it if I got invited somewhere, and instantly, it's funny, my first thought just then was like, oh, I'll just shave. But then I just had a moment where I was just like, but why do I go back on everything I pushed through to suit them when I went through such a struggle and such a hump to get over to where I am now? Just then, I was thinking
Yeah.
about that. That's a hard one. That's definitely a hard one. It's something all they've ever known is, why can't you just shave for me? But I'm like, it took me a journey to get where I am now, and we
Yeah.
won't know until either of us get there, or if I do get asked to shave, it will be backtracking on a long journey.
That's such a good segue for the next question. So you did that perfectly. But what would we do if our partners asked us to start shaving again?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. For one, it'd be like, the fuck? What's happened? Do you not like this anymore? But no, that would be, first of all, a shock. But putting the shock factor aside,
Yeah.
I'm not actually sure. I'm not sure, because that'd be a very personal conversation of, it's a lot behind it, of why you're asking me to do this, what's going on, where is your thought process at, how are you feeling about this, and it wouldn't be a simple decision. And
So what if you were single again and you started dating someone, and they said, "Oh, I'd like you to shave." Like, not you and Anna, like in your
yeah,
committed long-term
I need to put that
relationship, but
aside, don't I?
like a new, yeah.
Honestly, I'm not sure. I think it would be where I'm at in my journey. Me single right now, I would be definitely at the peak of, which way do I go? Because I'm not quite over the just power to the body hair yet, and I'm I'm going to answer honestly, I'm not sure. I can't say one way or the other. I think I would start to feel a little bit, oh, I do want to impress them. I do want to do what they want me to do. Like, I would love to say, I'd be like, fuck you, I'm not, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I feel like I'm obviously not putting words in your mouth, but I feel like you would, as you said, you would hold your own, I would assume.
Oh, if someone asked me to start shaving, I'm like, see ya. We're like, what is the point? Like, I want to be with someone who likes me
Yeah.
for me. And if you don't like me for me, this ain't gonna work ever, because I'm always gonna be me. And if that triggers you, then you're not ready to be with me.
Yeah. No, I like that.
So for me,
I like our two different answers as well. It shows the two different sides of this, like,
but also the time, like
the timeline.
I've been doing this now for 6 years, so like I'm really solid in where I am, and like my partner, like we've been together now coming up to 5 years, and if I don't even, he would never ask me to start shaving, like never. But if he did, as you said, being in such a long-term relationship, if that came up, it would be like, what?
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, they'd be like, what's
Where is
going
this
on
coming
here?
from? Yeah, that'd be a very difficult, not that I'd ever do it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I do believe in compromise also.
Oh.
Like I might maybe be like, okay, well, I can start trimming a little bit if, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not going to change what I want to be in my body and what I want to do with my body for their reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, no way. I would never. Okay, we've got 4 more questions. Next one, how long did it take you to love your natural body hair?
Ooh, I'm going to take you down to the floor so I can put my phone on charge. I'm chatting a while, of course.
Yeah.
How long did it take me, did you say? Well,
yeah,
definitely still in the journey. So that's a hard one for me. I'm still seeing it differently. I'm still in the process of changing my thought process and seeing it a little bit differently. It was even last night. I was at a friend's place. I had 3/4 jeans on and I was sitting cross-legged and I looked down and I was like, oh, my leg hair. And I instantly thought, what, like, has he noticed? And I recognized that thought instantly and I pulled myself back. But I felt myself covering my legs, but also trying to pull forward and not care about it. And that was only last night.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to have to answer that again. Like, that's going to be every 3 months and it's going to be a different answer kind of thing. So,
yeah.
But no, this is definitely
what changed.
Sorry.
You go. No, you finish.
I was just going to say, this is a good question to turn back on you. And because you've been at this journey so much longer and you've found a place where it is you.
Yeah. So my leg hair was the first thing I stopped shaving, and that was extremely easy to come to terms with. I have blonde hairs. So I've never been worried about my leg hair. My pussy hair, that was okay. It would just be the bikini line that would really catch me, and sometimes still does. Like if I know I'm going on a family holiday with my partner's family, I might get my sugar wax out and just do my bikini line. And not because I'm afraid of not being accepted. Like they are accepting of who I am. I am trying not to make them feel too uncomfortable because I know that that's not where they are. And some people might not like that, that I'm doing it for them, but think about it. It's my boyfriend's dad. I don't want him to catch my hairy pussy on the beach and have this awkward moment. And I'm just doing it out of respect for them because I know that that's not their journey. But they have never said anything about my armpit hair, never questioned it or given me dirty looks. It's just something that I would do on occasion for situations. Yeah. But that's my choice, and Yeah.
No, interesting. I'm really glad you brought that up as well. I think that's something that needs to be acknowledged, that it's okay to do it for the comfort of other people, especially in family situations. Because I see my family once a year, and they're going to fall over when they see my body hair. And I think it's definitely, I'm not going to shave, I wouldn't go as far as shaving my legs for them, but I want to know that it's okay to do things to make people more comfortable. But another thing, just talking about bikini line, I'm mentally preparing to go back into society and leave lockdown. And one thing that came up was, it's summer. I'm going to be in a bikini soon. And already I was pre-preparing for my bikini line. But it may be this 1%. Will I be doing, if I shave my bikini line, am I doing it for me, or am I doing it for them, like to make them feel more comfortable? So even that's a good thing for me to sit with and wonder what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Because already thinking about doing it, because I'm not even outside yet, but I'm already pre-preparing for
it. And for me, loving my body hair, the armpits has been the longest and hardest journey, and is the biggest continued journey, because that is the part of our bodies that is more on show.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for me anyway,
Mm-hmm.
Because my leg hairs are so blonde. But it's the armpit hair that has been the longest for me to learn to love. And I can't say even for sure that I love my armpit hair, because I flow in and out of my power with this, which is normal. We are women of, we are cyclical. Our emotions come and go, the way that we feel come and go. And just like days when you feel comfortable maybe wearing a crop top or wearing a super tight dress, other days you won't be in that vibe. You might be feeling a bit bloated, so you won't wear a crop top or that tight dress. It's the same thing with my armpit hair. Some days I am in my full rocking power and I'll wear a singlet and I'll be lifting my arms up all over the place. Yeah. And other times I'll just be a little bit more like, oh, you know what, I just don't give a fuck. I don't, I'm just feeling soft and slow, and I'll wear a t-shirt. So I do love my body hair now, but I also love that it's a constant journey and that it's all on my terms and it's all my choice. That's what I love the most about my body hair.
Yeah, absolutely. And it feels, being so fresh in my journey, it feels so good to hear you say that you do have days where you do, I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna cover it up today. And some days you're like, yes, this is me. Like it feels really good to hear that, because I think a part of me just thinks it needs to be all or nothing. It needs to be a statement every day, or hide away. So it feels really good to hear that. And I think that's what we need. Sometimes it does take someone in front of us to see that they've gotten through it to move along the journey.
Yeah, and it doesn't need to be any different to wearing your tight dress. It doesn't.
Yeah.
Just because it's body hair does not mean it's different to anything else. Some days you feel like your hair looks great, so you'll wear it down. Some days you don't like it, so you'll put it up. No different to your body hair and what you choose to wear.
It's a really great comparison. It's a very good way to look at it, which I hadn't looked at it like before. So, no, I like it.
Normalizing it. Yeah, we are just normalizing it. All right. Third last question. Because you are all natural right now, does that mean that you are never going to shave again?
We briefly spoke about this last week, and it's funny. When I first started this journey, I was just like, am I ready to never shave again? It's like this permanent choice where it's there, it like laser. It's once you laser, you can never grow body hair again, and that is a choice you need to make. Body hair, my God, it's the one that I was just like, wait, I can shave again if I want.
Yes, because it will always grow back.
But yeah, it was no, it's that question. I will happily say I may never shave again. I may shave my entire body again, and that's the beauty of it. That's the beauty of choice. And I just want to know, if I shave again, that it is my choice.
Yeah.
So yeah.
My answer is exactly the same as yours. Like, I'm really enjoying where I am at now in my journey, and I don't ever, like, nothing is permanent. Like, everything is impermanent, and I cannot say with conviction that I'll never shave again, because this is who I am right now and might not be who I am, in 5 years. So I love that I am having an impact on women just by taking this journey myself and sharing it. I love that I am able to help women find a bit more comfortability in their natural body, and just to try it and to not judge themselves so harshly when they're giving it a go.
That's it.
But to just be gentle on yourself too, when you maybe choose to stop shaving or start shaving again. Like you said, what are the reasons behind you doing it? And you don't have to be hard on yourself if you do want to start shaving again.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Just kind of, we work so hard on the body hair journey, working so hard to get over that stigma, over the thought, the process, the bad thoughts, the judgment, and then it's just choosing to shave again. It's almost you're starting that journey all over again, where you're kind of going, oh, why am I doing this? Like, am I going back on everything? Am I leaving this body hair community that I've stood up for so long? So it's working through both ways. It's still it's all a journey, and it's all about how you feel in yourself and your reasoning and your choice.
Yeah. And it always goes back, just like your hair. As women, we play around with hairstyles, haircuts, hair colors, and we know that we can just cut it all back and it'll come back, just like your body hair. It's not a big second last question. Are you a feminist, and are you doing this for feminism?
Again, it's just, that's an interesting one that kind of comes back to body hair with or without making you feel more feminine. Feminism, again, doesn't really mean too much to me. Not in a disrespectful way whatsoever, but people could see me doing this for feminism. Don't see myself as a feminist, but feminism, sure, I'll stand up, but I won't label. I guess I see myself as doing this for me, exploring a new journey, exploring my own choice, and allowing women to see me doing this. And I'd probably use the word more role model than feminist, if anything. But feminism is a very big label. Again, I feel. It's just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't consider myself a feminist, but I also don't like to label myself under any term. I know that the work that I do is all about empowering women, and that can be seen by some people as, being a feminist. But to me, feminism is about fighting for equal rights. And I'm, for male, female, equal right. Like, to me, that's kind of what it means. And I'm not actively doing that work. I am doing feminine empowerment work. And if some people class that as feminism, go for it. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't label myself as anything. And I'm definitely not having this journey with my own body for feminism. I am having these journeys with my body because I am a forever journey and educate myself and then educate other women. But I don't class any of it under feminism or being a feminist.
No, absolutely. And I think we're on the same page as that. I think we're on the same wavelength. That, as I said, feminism is just, to me, it is another label, but less negative, perhaps. A lot less negative. It's just another putting someone in a box.
And I've lost your sound, Jess. My alarm just went off and I closed it, and I don't know if that's disconnected your headphones.
How's that?
No, that's still quiet.
All right. Anna says,
Quiet for me, but maybe everyone else can hear you as normal. Bloody alarms. Oh, well, we've only got one question left. Let's just go as if everyone can hear normal, and then we'll close off. I just can't hear you very well. So the last question is, why haven't we seen a rise in natural body hair for women?
Can you hear me or no?
very, very quiet. I'm listening.
Okay. Why haven't we seen a rise? I actually spoke to Anna about this a bit earlier today, and we there has been a rise. We're just not seeing it, perhaps. And it's I don't know, it's a hard one to answer. It's just it depends who you put yourself around. For instance, like your lifestyle and you going to a bush dock, you're going to see everyone with body hair. And that's the same for me in my climbing, slacklining community. You go there, it's just, it's normal. And it's just, it's who you surround yourself around. It's where you go and the groups you're in. But if we're referring to social media and celebrities, that's where we're not seeing a rise because that's not going to be publicized. They're not going to start putting women with body hair everywhere and going, women taking power, because women are going to follow this. And so on ground level, we're seeing it. Above us to what people follow, we're not going to see it. I don't think we're going to see it.
Yeah. So this question's obviously come from women who aren't seeing it, but are maybe starting, like they're at the very beginning of their journey, so they're now just aware of it, but they're not seeing it in their community.
Mm-hmm.
And you nailed it there. Like as you start moving into this lifestyle, other things in your life, I believe, and for me, start to change
Mm-hmm.
also. And so your community space will start to change. So the people that are hanging out with you might be have normal body hair, and so you will see it in your personal friendship circles as a growth. But like I wish there was some statistics for what this is like globally, or even in Australia where we are.
Yep, that's it. I don't want to. I think someone did mention to me the other day that it's places Europe. It's a lot more normalized. I think I'm not
Yeah.
sure if we had this conversation, but that comes down to social nudity as well. It might just be, I don't know if where we are in Australia. Well, especially I can refer to where I grew up. So that's going to bring social nudity to this. Social nudity is orgies, and body hair is just dirty. So it is not normalized. It is not normal, and that is definitely a lot of northern Queensland area. And it's not until you find these kind of groups that it does become a little bit more normalized. So I haven't been anywhere else to be able to label this or talk for other countries, but yeah, it's what we're talking about. It's seeing a rise in body hair. I'm trying to bring it back to the subject. Um, it's becoming more discussed, definitely, and even our discussion. Since our discussion, we had a GNA event online, and that became the discussion of the group was body hair. And I've never spoken about it so much before. And I had one guy go, "Oh, so what's going on? Are women choosing not to shave now?" He goes, "Because I like it." Good on him. I love it. I love body hair on women, and it's just it is starting to come up, and it may just take more conversation. It may take more of these conversations to bring this topic up, and it's just how many more women have come to me on Instagram. I'm sure you have felt this too. It's just being spoken about. 250 comments. They're all about body hair, negative or not. It's still being spoken about. So it just does take
Yeah.
people standing up, and obviously, as we spoke about Madonna's daughter stepping out on the carpet with body hair, that would have sparked both a positivity and an outrage, both about body hair. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's just, I guess there is a rise because it's slowly being more spoken about.
That's it. And I think it is going to be a really slow slow process, and we're not going to see a huge shift overnight, because the more that we rise up as being natural, the more that the companies who produce the products to remove hair are going to create products.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
there's more and more products on the shelf for hair removal than ever before
Mm-hmm.
nowadays. And as we start to rise in becoming natural, they start losing money. And so they're like, oh, well, let's create something bigger and better, something that works faster, is more painless, is cheaper, like trying to keep you in their grasp. So the change is definitely not going to happen quickly, because marketing and companies that sell these products are so smart, and that's why they are billion-dollar companies, and we are so used to just being their sheep, you know. And so yeah, you can see the difference in your circles, but it's going to be a slow thing for everyone.
Yeah, no, it definitely is. And it's but it is quite funny that your vibe attractor tribe, essentially, when you start making a decision about something that's against the norm, you attract those people into your life, which is an amazing thing. So we have both started to see a more normalization for it, because they're the people we've attracted in. And yeah, so but other people haven't. Like you said, the women who that have asked are the women who haven't seen a rise in this, and it's still a shock factor. And oh God, what are they doing? These hippies, lesbians, feminists. It's just because they don't know anything else.
Yeah, that's big. That's everything. We've covered our topics. We've answered all the questions. It's been like an hour and a half. Woohoo! Thanks for hanging on with us, ladies.
Of course it has. Oh God, we could talk about this forever. But and
honestly, yes.
No, it'd be great to come back and rediscuss this in 6 or 12 months, and just what has changed, what has happened. It's just, yeah, this is a topic that keeps getting revisited just because it needs to keep getting spoken about.
Yep. So thank you again, Jess, for coming on and having these conversations with me. And for the women who watched live, thank you for showing up and sitting through this. I hope that you enjoyed it as much as we did.
Yeah.
For the women that are watching the replay, please hashtag replay in the comments below. And if we didn't answer something that you want us to answer, or maybe a topic that you would like us to explore a little bit deeper, put everything down in the comments, and we can come back with even just a post with more information, or another chat if you so desire, because we love talking. So just put it all in the comments.
Amazing.
All right. Thanks, Jessie.
Thank you.
Have a beautiful rest of your day.
You too.
No worries. And ladies, I'll see you next week.